So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elīna Dobulāne, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the next session of this conference devoted to the use of social media to reach new audiences. Today you will be hearing two presentations from Mrs. Linda Mattisone from the State Labour Inspectorate of Latvia and Dr. Max Lum from National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health of the USA. You're welcome to ask your question after both presentations. I think that I would like to invite our first speaker, Mrs. Linda Mattisone, who is the head of the Cooperation and Development Unit of the State Labour Inspectorate of Latvia. Her her educational background is general and occupational medicine. While working on her doctoral work on occupational cancer, she spent a year in Oxford University. But today she will be addressing the topic of the use of social media by labour inspectorates in Europe. One would imagine that in the social media age, these tools is extensive. Is it the case? Let's welcome Mrs. Mattisone.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to present data on social media used by labor inspectorates, and it was really a very interesting and very challenging work to put a presentation together, because when we started to organize, to make this presentation, we got the feedback like, this is not for labor inspectorates, they would not use, they should not use, but I'm going to present data. What we obtained while preparing for the Senior Labour Inspectorate Committee Thematic Day, which will be held in May. And usually when you get ready for this thematic day, you prepare a questionnaire and ask all the member states to answer the questions. So we also decided to include in this questionnaire questions on social media. So we received 28 replies from 27 member states and Switzerland as EFTA country, and data from Belgium are not included. Therefore, we are not sure whether Labour Inspectorate of Belgium uses social media. Then I will also include some data from European Agency for Safety and Health at Work from the questionnaire of focal points, just to compare the countries where social media are used and where not. Then I will give one slide which I borrowed from the SNR survey results, just to have an idea what else can be done. And there will be two examples from our Twitter, or two examples from Twitter account of State Labour Inspectorate. So some statistical data. So out of 28 countries, 11 use social media. So this is 39%. It's less than half. How many social media are used by different countries? This graph shows that if only the country uses social media, then they most probably use more than one. So out of all these 11 answers, there were just two countries where you get only one social media, but there were also countries where you have 4 different social media. And with different social media, I don't mention that the same institution manages 2 or 3 Twitter accounts or 2 or 3 Facebook pages. I mean Facebook, SlideShare, Twitter, YouTube, and I mean totally different types of social media. So, which is the most popular one? Definitely it's Facebook. And 10 countries out of 11 use Facebook. The next most popular, it's YouTube. It's also almost every single country uses. Less popular is Twitter, and in one case you get also LinkedIn webpage and also a profile on SlideShare account where PowerPoint presentations are included to share the experience. So the map, which countries use, you can see that it's like a Nordic invasion. And why Norway is a bit different color, that's because Norway did not reply to the questionnaire, but we got the information from EU OSHA, which were the focal point is also linked to the Labor Inspectorate. So we know that they use social media. But you see, this is a map of at least one social media. When we look to the map for even more than one, I mean, when you can use this option to link together YouTube with Facebook and YouTube with Twitter, then you can see that it's even more Nordic example that social media are coming from North. I don't have an explanation why, but it seems it's just a fact. So we also included in our questionnaire a question related, two questions, just to have like a self-evaluation of labor inspectorates. And the question was, please indicate whether your inspectors are perceived by employers and by employees. It was the second question, more as controllers and supervisors, or consultants and advisors. And you can see, and here the score was from 1 to 10, where 1 it's control and 10 it's advisor. And you can see the average number, if calculated for those labor inspectorates who do not use social media, they are in both cases lower than in case where the labor inspectorates use social media. And this is especially for employees, and I believe that's because, for example, on Facebook or on Twitter, you get questions like, and if you don't reply in 3 hours, it's too late already, because they expect answers like 1, 2, 3 hours, and sometimes we even face the situation that we, for example, manage 2 Twitter accounts. If one Twitter account is not replying in 2 hours, you get the same question to another Twitter account. So basically, this is a very, very fast and fast requesting information. So this is a slide where the map includes also EU OSHA focal point social media. So you can see it's better. But there are still some countries which are, let's say, white, where you don't have social media. Sometimes I believe that we just don't have information, for example, on trade unions if they use social media, or employers' organizations. But these are, let's say, the official and Twitter accounts or social media accounts with trusted information and like say given in a correct way and not defending just one side. So just one history of the most popular tweet in Latvia. The tweet got 128 retweets. And I guess if we would ask EU OSHA how many tweets you have with 128 retweets, they would not say that a lot of them, that there might be just some. But the history is very funny. And so someone from Latvia was inspired after going to UK, noticing on the wall this picture in case of fire, exit the building before tweeting about it. So we decided that we have to make it also in Latvian, so we made a poster, don't tweet if the fire is on, if there is a fire, and so we printed this poster. We took to the regional seminar to distribute these printed posters. A mom went to a seminar, got a poster, brought it back to the daughter, the daughter made a picture of the poster and posted it on the Twitter. So the second life of the poster started on the Twitter, and if we were not on Twitter, we could not imagine that such another life exists. And you know, our influence was just when we decided to make a printed version or translated version of the poster. So another question on our questionnaire on Senior Labor Inspectorate, the questionnaire was, there were several case studies, and one of the case studies was about Facebook. So this is a real case, so what we got in Latvia. So on our social media, on our Facebook account, we received information that with this picture, so the customer of a shop made a picture of a person cleaning aquarium with fish. And he also posted the address of the shop and the name of the shop, so we could identify which is the shop. So in the questionnaire, we put the picture, and we also wrote, let's say, the description of the case. So your organization receives a photo from a store visitor in the Facebook or any other social media account showing that the shop assistant is cleaning the aquarium with fish. Personal protective equipment is not used. The post contains information on the name of the shop and address. And it was really amazing to read the results. So the results are from very ends. One labor inspectorate, these are quotes from the answers. So one labor inspectorate says the picture looks like a photo montage. And the other end is that an administrative sanction in form of a fine could be applied. So there I got the feeling that in case your labor inspectorate in your country does not have social media account, don't worry. You can do on OSH so many things labor inspectors will not be able to identify. Of course, we got also different answers in between, like photo cannot be taken into account, or we will contact the manager via phone, email, or letter, or it will be the information received on social media will be treated equally to an ordinary complaint, and we will carry out the inspection. So before saying what we in fact did, I borrowed this slide from OSHA from the SNR, and I would like to pay the attention to the last two data, saying that why companies want to, or why they carry out activities in occupational health and safety. And there you can see that one of the reasons it's companies, they are afraid of fines, but the other reason, as important, is losing reputation. So why not we as labor inspectorate should influence the reputation of the companies? It's not just putting fine, because fine, it stays between labor inspectorate and between that particular company. Why not to influence the reputation, and why not to do through social media? So what we did, on our Twitter account, we posted the question to the shop, asking, which is approximate translation, is this an accident or a standard procedure seen on the photo? And we also included the link to the Facebook. And you can see we posted this 10:30 in the morning. So approximately 2 hours later, we get a reply from the shop saying that we will check and we will be back soon. 15 minutes later, we get the answer, the work must be done by subcontractors, not by our employees. So explaining that the employees do not comply with their internal procedures. And a minute later, we will pay more attention to OSH, thanks for observations. So as for us, it took 140 signs to type, one phone call to our regional inspectorate saying, okay, when you will visit the company next time, ask also about this procedure. And if I go back, you can see that there are also some retweets and favorites. So that means people are interested in such things and they share this information, and that's the way how we really can influence the reputation. Of course, this is not the case. This company already has a rather bad reputation. We just can help to ruin it. So, one more slide for showing that it's a very powerful tool. This is also a borrowed slide from EU OSHA. It's about data from the whole Europe. For 1 year, you can see that a number of funds for followers on Facebook, it's increased for 17,000. For Twitter, it's 12,000 new followers per year, and in LinkedIn, it's almost 6,000 new followers. So without going out of office, making stands, it's just writing and creating content and sharing already existing things, because you don't have to print or publish anything new. You just have to put, in most cases, the links to the existing tools to share already existing information. And for some remarks for conclusions, so if Labour Inspectorate has decided that it will be active on social media, most probably it will interact in several social media. Like I mentioned, if you have a YouTube channel to share information, you tweet a link to YouTube channel. And also from today's conference, it's already the video of from Matthew Holders. It's already posted with a tweet and retweeted and going further. But what is also very surprising to me, not all Labour Inspectorates really understand how to use or what to use. What does it mean, social media? Because among the quotes, what I can say, it's saying that when, for example, when the received photo is signed by the client of the shop and the correspondence address is given in social media, you don't sign anything and you don't have correspondence addresses. That means you will not be able to answer to those things. Another thing is, if media who sent the photo would be informed by the head of inspectorate. So I mean, it's not the media who sent, it's just a shop person who is going to the customer, the client in the shop. So you don't have a person, the head of the inspectorate should get in touch or get in contact or comment on this situation. So these are things what we have to learn as labor inspectors, how to use this, what does it mean and how to interact or react on these cases. And there's a huge difference in use of social media in European labor inspectorates, and I believe that by using this possibility to influence the reputation of the companies, it's another way how labor inspectorates can improve occupational health and safety in the companies, especially if the companies themselves say that investing in OSH it's important because of their reputation. So they are afraid of losing or of losing the reputation. And finally, I would like to thank to all labor inspectorates who answered to the questions. I would like to thank EU OSHA for supporting me with the information and data. I also would like to thank everyone who commented on Facebook. And I have the experience first time of using Facebook for preparing my presentations. As I posted on Facebook one of the maps I presented earlier, and I got a very good feedback from the people commenting, and the presentation has become much better, and definitely I'm going to use this once more when I will not be sure what I have to say during the presentation. I will ask the audience on Facebook. And I would also like to thank everyone who is using social media to raise awareness on OSH. That's our future and our job to be done to improve OSH in Europe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. As I mentioned before, you are most welcome to ask questions to Mrs. Matisane after the next presentation. So the next topic on our program is superheroes, cartoons and apps delivered by Dr. Max Lum from the USA. Dr. Max Lum works as a senior advisor on social media and research translation at the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health of the USA. He has a remarkable experience in health communication. His 35-year career includes public health assignments in the Peace Corps, Centers for Disease Control, as well as a number of international organizations, including consulting WHO. Dr. Max Lum states that content is king, but he also asks how memorable, understandable, and engaging it is. So let's welcome Dr. Max Lum.
Thank you. Thank you for that very kind introduction. I want to say something right up front, and that is Linda assured me that last night's dancing will not be on YouTube, and which means I can go home without further embarrassment, I think. But it was very nice last night, and I also appreciate the invitation from the Latvian presidency to be here with you in this conference. And also, Linda actually picked the topic for this presentation. So when she asked me to do it, I was really pleased because that means someone actually read our blog and saw the picture of Batman and Superman on our blog. So we'll talk a little bit about that today, and I think about the importance of the theme of this conference, which I think is really intriguing to me, and that was, occupational safety and health can be simple, and it also can be entertaining. I actually don't think it's so simple to do, but it's certainly, the message should be simplified and understandable, and I think there is a role in some areas for entertainment. I think when, historically, the message environment was a lot easier. We were doing the research, we were providing the message. This is a comfortable position for us, I think, to provide safety messages. We were then, I think, putting the other arrow, the other tip, essentially on the arrow, getting information from the public about what they wanted to understand. It took a while. In the US, I think this started pretty much in the 70s within the environmental movement. But now it sort of looks like this. There's a lot of noise in the message environment. This was really brought home to me very clearly one day when I was taking a message to my 3 boys. They were younger then. They were sitting on the couch. They were watching television. They had their laptops open, and they had their cell phones in their ear, right? Talking to their girlfriends, working on the computer, talking with each other, and that was the environment that I was going to come in and talk to them, right? This, to me, is a metaphor of where we are today. I mean, if our message wants to get across, how are we doing that? Our messages are good, and they take a lot of time putting together, but how are we getting our messages out, and can we use a little bit of entertainment to get through the clutter? We call this, I think, noise, basically communication noise. So how do we cut through this? And I think, certainly our attention spans are less. In the U.S., commercials on television were 1.5 minutes, and then they were reduced to 1 minute, and now they're about 30 seconds. Okay, a lot of that is to really reach new audiences, reach a younger audience. I know my own family, particularly my sons, the attention span is short. It's a lot shorter than mine is, I think. So we know that the visual is important. The brain can really process information a lot quicker. So the extent that we can use visual, whether it's videos or whether it's some way of entertaining people to get them to open the message and to understand what it is. I have to say that this is sort of true confessions here, that I had a thing about Batman when I was growing up. I mean, when I was a little kid, that's all I had was Batman costumes for Halloween. I had a Batmobile, that you pedaled around. It looked like a Batmobile. I think my parents thought I had a fixation for bats, when I was really, but it's something about the darkness of Batman that's really appealing. And now working in Washington, I think it really does apply, this kind of darkness around the city. So I think, cartoons are a very visual medium, and it would be nice if we could use cartoons more often because they identify immediately with a lot of our audience. And this is a cartoon that we drew from one of our blogs. I think this is the one that Linda might have seen, where we're talking about the importance of Batman's outfit and his PPE. We're trying to relate his strength, his protection, and therefore personal protection equipped for those of us who, know hero lingo plays a vital role in protecting those who protect us. Okay, and the reason this drawing is so funky, I think, is because we're not allowed to use pictures of superheroes without paying for them. Okay, in the US, they cost a lot of money. So we thought in our wisdom at NIOSH that we would just draw something that sort of looked like Batman, and maybe that would cover us a little bit. And even though we're government, we're still, we're still, can be sued, basically, for using copyrighted material. But our lawyers must have been away the day we used this, or they were sleeping or something, but we did use a picture of Spider-Man, and here the issue was NIOSH scientists are trying to understand how Spider-Man is able to jump from one building to another, but you better be conscious of falls, essentially. It's an attempt to focus the audience on the message. So the best thing, I think, that we can do is to begin to develop these cartoons which really can relate to our audience. Now, it takes some, I think, a little bit of a right-brained looking to know that this is a nail gun, okay? But we thought nail guns are a serious problem in construction in the U.S., and we thought that, we would draw a cartoon and we checked with construction workers and they thought this was a good idea. So we developed these messages using this cartoon. And again, here's the not so subtle message here is this isn't the Wild West, okay? This is not a gunslinger. This is a serious tool for construction. You have to protect yourself. It also allowed us to have other cartoons, other messages as a part of this. Again, this was a brochure. It wasn't a blog, although we followed it with a blog and some tweets and used the cartoon that we developed. But again, we expanded the message. It's fast, but you have to be cautious. And then, of course, the target audience for where you can get hurt with a nail gun is like everywhere. Okay, and we followed this up with some other information and a sticker for construction folks, and they really liked this construct and rolled it out. NAPO is the man. I mean, we'll say that we don't have a NAPO, frankly. I don't know how many of you may have been to the ISSA meeting, where NAPO was electronically relating to the speakers. Okay? I mean, there was an electronic NAPO, and he was talking to the speakers. It was really, really well done. And I think the great thing about NAPO is that he conveys the message without a lot of words, with no words, if you've seen those. And that's great in a multilingual, global, world that we live in. This is really, really a good thing. And I wish we had a little bit more NAPO in the U.S., but we do use NAPO for some messages, and again, he's the man. He is, I think, king of drawings and comics. And of course, the visual is important. We developed this last year just as a visual. I know we all use cartoons. I saw some excellent examples here yesterday that using cartoons for reaching young people, like at health fairs and all, very well done. And this is just people being pulled into brush cleaning and machines that we have an issue with this in the summer where kids work in this area. And also, I don't know if you use whiteboards. Whiteboards are those, just boards that quickly, write out a message, very fast. Cartoons are also very important for this, and we've used them in the past to, again, focus attention. Of course, videos. We saw some great videos a minute ago. Ours is very, very simple. This is just noise in the city, construction. By the way, Riga is one of the quietest cities I've ever been in. Have you heard a horn here? What is it with, there's no horns, you know? And then someone told me it's illegal to use your horn unless it's an extreme emergency, you know? We need this to come to New York and Washington, D.C. Noise is, it's wonderful walking around Riga. But for construction, we want people to wear PPE. And again, using cartoons in videos also very, very important for us. So it's all great, but how do we know it works? I mean, that's what, you know, this conference is about, implementation, and then how do we know these things really work? And I'm a big fan of Google. I know Google has some problems in Europe. I don't think it's with the quality of what they do. I think it's other issues. 90% of Europeans use Google, 70% in the US. So Google's also something that we certainly look at to understand if people are searching for our information, what are the keywords they're using, and also if it's coming up, you know, is it really coming up in the fold? Are we, when we type in nail gun safety, well, what we found out was even our cartoons are coming up, you know, on Google that we developed for our nail gun safety activity. And also the information is coming up, and it's really being driven, you know, by people looking at that information, but it's also being driven by social media. We have 350,000 people, followers on our Twitter site. It's taken us 5 years to get there, but it's very important in a research activity, which NIOSH basically is a research institution, to use Twitter because it's a link to the research itself. And we have 13 individual Twitter sites because we found out there's more interaction if we narrow down the interests, like in construction or agriculture or healthcare. There's a lot more interaction. If, you know, 350,000 people on a Twitter site, it's like a fire hose. You know, how much of that information is going to really reach someone who can use it? But it's nice to have that vehicle because it helps drive the search engines. So I think, as I heard a speaker from Finland say, that, you know, we have to be aware of what we're doing when we develop cartoons, know your audience, tie it in with a paper, a research study, so that there's some science to it, I think also helps. But again, you can't do this for everything. I mean, you know, occupational safety and health and injury and illness is not exactly an entertaining activity necessarily. You may not want to do this with everything. So let's talk a little bit about apps. Apps are great. Apps help focus information. In my mind, I have very few apps on my phone, but the ones I have I tend to use a lot, and it does save time. And I think there's content overload again, and you know, there's an issue of mobility on your cell phone and utility, I think, with apps. We developed this ladder safety app. This was the first app that we really developed. And what it is, it's quite remarkable because it's very popular. And what it is your cell phone, right, has a gyroscope in it. So you just put it on the side that the ladder, you know, is going, you know, against the wall. So you can know what the percentage is related to the wall size. So it's very easy, right? And then it also has information other than the angle that you should put your ladder. It also has information about ladder safety and a link back to more information. And again, going back to Google again, is that in 2013, what we found was that the ladder app, I mean the app itself, not the information, but the app itself was driving people to the website for the information. So what happens in 2015 is that not only is it expanding, that the app is driving people, but now you're getting the actual information on Google. And this is at the top of the fold, you know, as you open it up. So what does that tell us? That tells us that apps drive search, okay, as social media drives search. People say, well, I don't like social media. That's fine. It drives search, okay? As institutions, I think we have to use social media. This is another app that we developed. Again, another metric we're looking at. compared to our blogs. Blogs are very important, I think, for research activities because there's really a chance for us to talk in very brief terms about whatever the research is. This is how accurate our smartphone sound measurement apps. This is a study of our app that we did on sound. Again, you hold up your phone, you can get an immediate reading of how noisy it is in the room. Okay? This was a comparison of this with more sophisticated data. And again, we get a lot more hits on our apps when we talk about apps than we do when we talk just generally about our research. So now I want to talk about probably the most important thing today, and that is Wikipedia. And whenever I say this, what happens? People will say, seriously, dude, you're going to talk about Wikipedia? You know, that's this thing about seriously, you're going to use Wikipedia. People are putting stuff on Wikipedia. They're ruining data. They're putting junk on there. And you're going, as an agency, you're going to use Wikipedia. Yes, we're going to use Wikipedia. Not only are we going to use it, we're going to work with the Wikipedia Foundation to improve the science on Wikipedia, because that's what we're essentially all about. And it is a key driver for NIOSH right now. You know, Wikipedia, we have about 8 million visits per year on our website, which is pretty good. CDC, that's number one, I think. We have 150,000 web pages, all in English, but we do have NIOSH in Espanol, but it's not nearly this size. 8 million visits per year. Wikipedia gets 8 million visits per hour, okay? And the thing that kills me about Wikipedia is if you say to somebody, well, where do you think people are going for information? Most people will say, well, the web, the net, and Wikipedia. So if people are going for information on Wikipedia, why wouldn't we try to manage it and use it? Because that's where people are going for information. Now, that doesn't mean they don't go to the excellent wiki that you all have in Europe, but Wikipedia is a way to send people to that wiki. You know, it's a chance to really brand these areas very closely. And this is a comparison of our Wikipedia pages that we developed. This is firefighter safety, ergonomics, bloodborne workplace stress. You know, our stress at work site gets more hits, let's say, from our website. Obviously, our homepage gets more hits. This is 1 month. I just did 1 month. But, you know, ergonomics and chemicals, people are getting this information on Wikipedia, so why not try to clean up the information that we have on Wikipedia? And it also opens up this, what I call the long tail of information. And this, probably the easiest way to understand this is if you're on iTunes or you want to download some music, obviously the iTunes people want to send you the music that's most relevant, most new, basically the latest Lady Gaga song that's coming out, because it's in the short tail. But you know, there are some old people like me that have lost their Stones record from the 1970s, and they want to buy this CD down here. So there's a lot to be said for trying to find information that's not so clear. Wikipedia helps do this because it opens up a chance for us to get rid of this or to disseminate this long tail information. 1999, it sort of looked like this when I came to NIOSH. It was all about search engine optimization and links that we put on our website to get people to come to our website. Now it's social media, and a lot of this is Wikipedia, strangely enough. Even though we have 350,000 people following us on Twitter, Wikipedia is a very strong part of our activity. Very important slide for me to show you, because if you type in NIOSH, this is what you get. And the point of this slide is that social media drives search. So that is the key, and that Wikipedia right now is driving the biggest numbers of people to our website. In 2013, Wikipedia, this is 1 month, driving 14,000, 15,000 people there. And number 5, obviously the search engines, Bing, Google, and Yahoo are king here in 2013. This is OSHA, US OSHA. Now, Wikipedia is number 3. It's passed a search engine, Yahoo, and It's not going to take over Google, but it's certainly 15,000 hits is significant coming from Wikipedia. It's driving interest. This is a page that we did recently on flock workers' law. We just put this up last month. It was picked as one of the premier pages, and they put it on the front page. It got 6,000 views, okay? Of those 6,000 views, 1,000 of those views came to the website to get more information. That's to us is important to learn how to manage this, not just to turn it off, but how do we manage this? How do we do this in a secure way? And again, you can put videos on Wikipedia. They get huge amount of dissemination, and it's something that we're exploring. And of course, you have references that can, these are mostly NIOSH references, but there are also references from other institutions that have done work in this area. So obviously, to me, the exciting thing about Wikipedia right now, we're going to meet with the foundation very shortly. My boss, the director of NIOSH, and I are going out. We're going to talk to them about how we do this better and how can we make our material more secure on Wikipedia. We do monitor very heavily our information. It's not, nobody messes with it too much. If they do, it's usually an accident. But this is also very encouraging to me is that Wikipedia has developed this new program called Wikidata. And the Germans are very much behind this. And what it is a place where information is placed, like that Flocker's worker page. And then it's translated immediately into all of the languages that Wikipedia services. Now, they don't have it operational yet, but it's, to me, it offers us a chance to globally cooperate. So when we do, just think of, we did a nanotechnology page. We put it up. We talk about the research that the INRS is doing in France. We talk about FIO's research. We talk about our research, and we put it on one page, and all of us kind of monitor together. It's not a NIOSH page. It's not a US page. It's a global page, and that we can share information globally. It also sends people to the OSH Wiki here in Europe. It sends it to the NIOSH Wiki, its website. It sends people for more information, but it's a place where people can collaborate and cooperate. There's plenty of room on Wikipedia. Health is only 2% of generally the information on Wikipedia. So there's plenty of room for this. It's not like overly done, I think, in terms of health and safety. So there's plenty of really room. So what have we done related to this? As far as I know, we've hired the first Wikipedian in residence. We hired a person, a student. She's an undergraduate student. She works for us part-time as she goes to school. And she edits Wikipedia for us. She's been editing Wikipedia since she's 13 years old, okay? She has taught us more in 3 months about how to do this correctly than we struggled to understand for the last 4 years. So you say, well, what's the fun about editing Wikipedia? Well, if you're in communication, writing is fun. And seeing people actually look at your stuff and ask you questions about it is really very much fun. And I think for the people that we've used to edit Wikipedia have been mostly summer interns, occupational graduate students, and they've come in the summer and edited under our guidance. They know a lot about Wikipedia and not so much about occupational health, so we get our scientists to work with them closely. But she's really helped us, and I think we look forward to working with the Wikimedia Foundation. We've recently put RELs and PELs on chemicals on Wikipedia, something I did not want to do because I didn't think we could monitor them. But there's organizations of editors within Wikipedia who are very conscientious about reviewing material. The chemistry group and the medical group are the strongest. So we're finding new partners in the community space, basically, to do this. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is Washington here in the background, in case you wanted. This is the NIOSH building right here. Come visit us. Go do good things. Thank you very much.
Thank you for interesting talks. I think that we are a little bit short of time, but I think there are a few questions we can take. So.
Thank you. Thank you for really interesting presentations. I have actually a question maybe for both of you. Behind the social media, there are usually people, as you mentioned, regarding Wikipedia. So my question is, how do you motivate your staff to be involved in social media and about OSH? And do you have any secrets, regarding this?
There really have. Is this on? Can you hear? I don't think there's really been any secret about motivating young people to use social media. I mean, the folks that we hired are not my age. They're very much young and into the use of social media. It's getting the Institute to buy into social media was the issue, getting our researchers to buy into it. But we're mainly hiring communication staff who can work with our researchers, and I think they know more and more that this is important. This is an important way for them to get their information out. And interestingly enough, in the United States, the National Science Foundation is now asking people when they send information for grants, when they compete for grants, to tell them how active they are on social media in getting their information out. That's a very strong incentive for researchers to all of a sudden, well, we better figure this out. But yes, it does take human resources, particularly we have to monitor Wikipedia. It does take fiscal resources, but it's not as much as having a major marketing program, for instance.
What about Labor Inspectorate?
Yeah, I can say about my experience because I'm behind some of social media of State Labor Inspectorate of Latvia. I would like to borrow the words you mentioned in your presentation. You can see the results so fast. I mean, immediately you post it and you see retweets sharing further information. After 2 days, you can see how many new visits to the YouTube channel, how many films have been seen. I mean, it's immediately you can see the results. That is what motivates me. But I think that's the personal experience. It's rather difficult to motivate people who have just communication background if they don't know the context or the content. It's rather difficult to create an entertaining message, for example, in Twitter, also in 140 signs. You have to know what you can delete and what you should not delete in those 140 words. So it's also about knowing exactly the post or the message, what you want to say, the topic.
Thank you. Some other questions? Okay, if there is no more questions, then I would like to thank you, both speakers, and end this session. As I understood from the agenda, then we have coffee break. Thank you.